And of course, we heard that the government has insinuated baselessly that the executive mansion is not a protest ground. The branch of the government that put out that fallacious information, ought to know that there is a historical context to the convergence of people at the executive mansion. 1980, March 7, the People's Progressive Party conducted a maid-led march at the executive mansion premises. 1980 May, students from different academic institutions converged at the executive mansion to demand of the military government then to return to the barracks. 2003 April, women movements, different women groupings had a peaceful assembly at the executive mansion to demand a restoration of peace and democracy, and to demand that different political actors take very seriously the imperative of initiated peace, to put the history of war beyond, and to initiate or to initialize plans towards democratic governance. That was 2003 at the executive mansion, a march that was conducted or carried out by different women groupings. During the tenure of former President Weah, on June 7, 2019, the Council of Patriots also conducted a march that was premised at the executive mansion. That convergence was held at the executive mansion, and even President Boakai, who was then in the opposition, was an attendant of that march. Then subsequently, in 2020, the City Council of Patriots also carried out a march at the premises of the executive mansion. In fact, they didn't just march, it was not just a convergence to demonstrate grievances or to demonstrate displeasure against what it termed as actions incompatible to democratic governance, but they also cook at the executive mansion. They paraded cooking pots, they paraded plates, spoons. It was a cooking ground, and all the major actors, or almost all the major actors today that are trying to stifle freedom of speech, stifle freedom of assembly, were in attendance at the executive mansion. Of most recent, there was the conduct of the No to Drugs rally, which we supported, and we will support 1,000 times over, because it was conducted in the best direction, and it is very clear that that march was conducted at the premises of the executive mansion, which is quite recent. So this historical context debunks the insinuation or the suggestion by state actors that the executive mansion is out of bounds for the conduct of peaceful, democratic or political exercises. Not just that there's a historical context that supports our convergence of the assembly at the executive mansion on Wednesday, December 17, but besides the precedence debate, it is also legal. The executive mansion is the property of the people, and the expanse between the Capitol building and the executive mansion is open to the public. And based on the historical context and historical precedents characterizing convergence of thousands of people at different historical dispensations, it is unthinkable. In fact, it is completely absurd and preposterous that anyone who wants to prevent the rights of the people from being demonstrated at the executive mansion. So it is historically proven, it is precedented, it is constitutional, because the Constitution of Liberia clearly supports all citizens being free to assemble anywhere within the confines of the Republic, when their safety, when their peace and safety or the peace and security of those citizens required that action. Well, at this point, the peace, the security, the safety of the Liberian people in their hundreds of thousands, if not millions, required that there is a mass convergence, a mass assembly, a mass exodus of Liberians toward the center of gravity being the executive mansion. So it is constitutional, and it is validated by a constitutional clause that supports that convergence. Not just that, there is no threat to national security. And then counter-security debate that government will want to utilize or arm itself with as a basis to denying Liberians the right to assemble at the mansion is simply non-existent. By virtue of the fact that the Ministry of Justice wrote the Solidarity and Trust for New Day stand and protest collaborators or the protest coalition, commending us, congratulating us for the orderly and the peaceful manner with which the July 17th protest was conducted, clearly dramatizes that it is needless to be frightened, it's needless to argue or to speculate that there will be anything dramatically insecure about that December 17th process, except if government has a draconian or subterranean agenda to be disruptive, to be violent, to be brutal against the convergence of peaceful Liberians that are simply staging a not-violent resistance against ills of our society, against actions that we consider clear and present danger to the democracy of the Liberian state and to our participation as a people. So we have always been peaceful. The government has commended us for being very peaceful and orderly in the conduct of the July 17th peaceful protest, which predates the December 17th protest, which by virtue of the fact that we were peaceful on July 17th, despite different levels of provocation by the government of Liberia, despite the demonstrated banditry of the police force that remains very much armed and mobilized to initiate violence against people based on its history of bloodbath against peaceful citizens, we remain peaceful, and we will always be peaceful, and we will never be the initiators of violence. Stan and all the protest collaborators are agents of change. We are a law-based public institution, civil institution that is fighting for the good of our republic. So as such, there is no basis whatsoever, be it legal, be it security, be it historical, be it moral, that would deny us the use of the executive mansion premises that has been used by other groupings long before us, including a midnight march that was conducted by the Progressive People's Party in 1980, March 7, midnight. So if the security apparatus that was militarized then, if I was a military junta who has accommodated protesters converging under the cover of darkness, 1980, when the PRC government, when Samuel Doe had just taken power, it was a military junta, a militarized governance system, but yet they allow the conduct of a midnight march. Then it is preposterous or inconceivable that President Boakai will attempt to stifle freedom of assembly or to stifle the rights of Liberians to peacefully converge for the collective good. So with that said, we can challenge the government that it has no moral, statutory, constitutional, or historical basis to deny us the use of that premises that were used by the Say No to Drugs ralliers, or used by students in 1980, or used by a political party in 1980, or used by women protesters in 2003. Within that context, we will be outside on December 17 at the premises of the executive mansion. We are hearing that the police is already mobilizing to cause mayhem, to cause harm, to inflict casualties on peaceful civilians, and to inflict possibly bloodbath. We are even hearing that state actors or state agents are determined, armed with a draconian motive, to burn down state institutions, to burn down police stations, and place the blame on members of stand or collaborators of the December 17th peaceful protest. We are a clean civil society institution. Our collaborators are peaceful. We are peaceful. We do not have any reason to attack government institutions, to attack government facilities, to attack police officers. We are coming out peacefully, and we will be peaceful, and will not be ones that will initiate violence. We will never do that. So any violence taking place on December 17th will be the workings of state actors, will be the workings of government actors that were very instrumental in firebombing the headquarters of the Solidarity and Trust for New Day stand a few nights ago. Regardless of the threats against our life, regardless of the peril that have been that may be targeted at us, we remain fearless. We are mobilizing. We will be outside on December 17th. We will come outside and we will assemble at the executive mansion. And we will do it peacefully. And we will not leave until the grievances of the masses are addressed, until the demands of the people are met, until President Boakai takes very seriously the demands and the grievances about governance. We will not leave. That this protest is not about me, nor about Stan. It is about victims of misgovernance under Joseph Boakai, because Boakai has crossed every red line. I don't know where the hope is coming from among some politicians who believe that Boakai is still capable of conducting peaceful elections in 2029, when he has clearly demonstrated a complete behavior that is tyrannical, that is dictatorial, and removed from any conduct of peaceful, democratic, or political exercises moving into the future. He has crossed every red line. When you come to power on the mantra of change, rescuing, according to you, a decadent society, rescuing the people of Liberia, and then you are breaking 10 laws to make room for your officials from the United Party. You uproot the sitting speaker of the House to enthrone a partisan speaker who says he's a regime collaborator and answers only to the presidency. And you allow police brutality. You protect the interests of a concession company against the interests of Liberians, and deploy brutal police units to kill innocent young people at Kinjaw. You deploy police that use excessive force that exploits a court ruling that calls for the eviction of a political party, to destroying, demolishing its properties, and uprooting that party from its headquarters. When you begin to burn the headquarters of a civil society institution, you've crossed every red line. And it is the victims of these transgressions that will be coming out. Victims of illegal demolition, victims of police brutality, victims of hunger and poverty, street vendors, market women that have been assaulted every day by the arbitrary actions of a police force and the MCC police. These are the people coming out on December 17th to say enough is enough, and we are not backing down. No retreat, no surrender. We will do it right at the executive mansion. We will be peaceful. If the police or the government will utilize or bring to bear all the muscular strength of the joint security apparatus against protesters to inflict harm, then let's wait to see the outcome. But we will be outside at the executive mansion. We will be peaceful and not violent, but relenting. We believe thousands will turn out. Nevertheless, it's not about the numbers. If no one comes outside, Moba K. Molu from Lofa County will be outside on that day, and I believe there are thousands of Liberians that will join all the force to come outside, because we are protecting democratic governance, protecting the civil space, and ensuring that those that have been abused, those that have been violated, the 14 years old, the 14-year-old, the 14 years children, women and children, children of 14 years, women of adulthood who have been assaulted, abused, raped by state actors will get justice. So thank you very much for coming. We will now turn over to you for subsequent answers, if there are any, regarding the December 17th lead or leave enough is enough peaceful protest.
My name is Augustine Notivius and I work for Prime FM, Prime Online. What are the pickup points for those who want to participate in this protest who assemble in order to join the main group?
As already stated, as a matter of fact, we informed all will-be protesters to print their own banners. Whatever the issues are weighing on your heart, have that issue printed on your banner and come outside to highlight abuses, the abuses confronting you, abuses against your relatives, your country, to the international community for redress, or the precious Boakai for transformative intervention. Those from Bushra Island will be assembling at the Clariton store. And those coming from Gardensville will be assembling at the Freeport of Monrovia. Those from Pinsville will be assembling between the ministerial complex and Kiamoto, where I live, or at Sten's headquarters. So from Sten's headquarters all the way to Kiamoto is a convergence point or assembly point for all will-be protesters, peaceful protesters coming out to participate. And those from Central Monrovia will be assembling at the G.W. Gibson High School on Capitol Bypass. And those from the St. Clair area, 9th Street area will be assembling at Vamuma. So prepare yourself, print your banners, when anything that will demonstrate your commitment to the process, and come outside, be peaceful, be lower burden, attack nobody, and come out to express your disgust and your grievances against misgovernance against the state, to ensure that Mr. Boakai or President Boakai will get the message to lead or to leave.
Well, so in the midst of this, many times the previous protests we saw a host of political party endorsing. Do you have some level of support from the political party, opposition political party, that have said yes, we will join you as part of this rally that we saw the CDC Youth League and other folks as well? And then B2A, quite recently your headquarters were gutted by fire. And since then, has there been any report made public? Have you been called by the Liberia National Fire Service? Has there been any investigation so far with regards to this fire incident?
Well, that's the question left the government to answer. So we leave that to them. We are not going to be distracted by a deliberate fire attack against our headquarters that was clearly determined to slow us down and to distract us. We are committed to moving forward. Our brain facility is there. We will rise again from the ashes. So nothing will deter us. We are glad it was just properties burnt. It could have been lost. There could have been loss of lives. So we are grateful to God that no life was lost. So we are moving forward. There are many political institutions, and it's not about political parties. It's about the country. And political parties that will be supported will come in and will say. But I believe this national cause is not limited to political institutions. It is a combination of Liberians from every sector, from whether be it political, be it religious, or be it traditional, Liberians from all walks of life. It's not a politicized process. It is a civil rights movement that pertains to justice and accountability.
Yeah, so the July protest, your demands were not met. Immediately you announced December 17th. Now, in the event where the government does not listen to your plot or your demands in your petition are not met,
but I think they will listen. I think it's about time for the president to listen to the message, because it is not in his interest for there to be incessant opposition.